It's time, my lovely friends. It's May's reading wrap up. Roll intro. Well, hello, my beautiful friends. This is May's reading wrap up, as I said, and I read 27 books in May, which was a bit mad when you think about it. It's a lot in it, really, but I don't do a lot else, so bear that in mind. If you read one book or 50, doesn't really matter as long as you enjoyed it. So we're going to whip through. Before then, how are you? How are you getting on? In sunny old England, it's no longer sunny. 2 weeks ago, it was 30 degrees. Today, it's pouring with rain and it's 16. So that was our summer aspect. That's done. Apart from that, all is well in my world. It's been weird not doing my weekly vlog, really. Been a bit strange. But I have to say, June so far is turned into a cracker. I've read 7 books so far in June. It's currently the 6th of June. And um, four of them are 5 stars and 3 of them are 4 stars. So I'm a bit worried that's the only ways down now. Do you know what I mean? But we'll see how we go. But anyway, I hope you're all okay. I hope you had a great reading month in May. We're going to go quite quick, otherwise this is going to be very, very long. Not that I don't enjoy, chattering, because I do, but we'll try and get through them as quick as possible. So in the month of May, I read 18 Kindles. They're all on this list, remind me, and 9 physical copies. I am trying this year, like a lot of us, to get my physical TBR down. So I'm trying to read between like 7 and 10 physical books a month, just because I prefer to read on my Kindle. I've got to be honest, it's my preferred way to read. So, but just because I read quicker, to be honest, and also I can read in less light. I can take, it's just easier, isn't it? I can read in bed. It's just easier. But there is something so special about reading a physical book. I do understand. So anyway, are we ready? Then we're off. Okay. So these aren't in any order they were read because honestly I can't remember. So we'll go for, what should we go for first? We'll go for the kind of encyclopedic books I read, which is the ones I tend to read at night in bed, and they're like interesting facts and things like that. I really enjoy them, and it means that I don't get into a story and keep myself awake. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, so we had a few of those this month. So the first one was 383 Disturbing Facts. These were quite disturbing, but very fun and easy to read. And yeah, fascinating. It's why I love a pub quiz. And next, after that, I read The Theory of Everything Else by Dan Schreiber. This was slightly different in the fact it's written by one of the QI elves, the people who do all the answers for QI. For anybody who's not from the UK, that's a program, an entertainment program that's on television here, where they pick a letter and then they find interesting facts about that. It's really good fun. This was great. It's very funny, very informative, and some really, really wacky, some really wacky stories. And then we read, next list, historical unsolved murder. Oh God, Sharon, get me teething. Historical unsolved mysteries. This was another really easy read, but it's all about things in the past have happened that there's no solution to. Unsolved crimes, unsolved mysteries, strange disappearances, stuff like that. It was great fun. Interesting stories for curious people is next. Again, in the same vein, these are all very much in the same vein. It's all like quirky, weird stories from around the world. A lot of them I'd never heard before, and honestly, they're just very funny. Next, Highlands at Scotland. No, Shaz. Islands of Abandonment by Cal Flynn. this was great. And this won some kind of Booker Prize or something. And it's basically this man who goes around all these places in the world that were abandoned, a lot of them because of a disaster. Do you know, there's like this place in Wales that used to be slag heaps from the mines and stuff like that, or places that have been infected by radiation and stuff. People can't live in anymore. Excuse me, my eyes are killing me. Anyway, and then it goes back to them many years after they've been abandoned now, and to see nature has taken over, and they are beautiful reservoirs and reserves of peace and wildlife and nature, and they're just gorgeous. It's beautifully written. The imagery is lovely. I mean, it was just a real joy to read this one, and just goes to show when you remove humans from the equation, nature does a thing. Do you know what I mean? Then I read 50 Bizarre True Crimes. Again, just what it says on the tin. 50 crimes from history that had a little bit of weird about them. A little bit odd. A little bit strange. Show people turning up and bodies turning up, and nobody knows who they are. And they have strange things in their pockets. Do you know that kind of thing? It was good fun. I think that was the last one, isn't it? That's the last. Oh, last one. Forbidden Places. Now, this was great fun. These were all the places around the world where people are forbidden to go. You know, like the first Chinese emperor's tomb, and there's certain like doors that are locked. There's one in this Indian temple, which I can't remember what it was called now. But anyway, they opened 8 of the doors and they were all filled with untold wealth. But the ninth door, they're not allowed to open because it holds back, like Pandora's box, the evil of the world, all that kind of stuff. Great fun. All of those books were on KU. So if you've got KU membership, check it out, my friends, because I tell you, they're worth every penny. Okay, just had a little break then to have a little drink and put some lip balm on because my lips are really dry. But anyway, on we go with the Kindles. No particular order, my friends. Lies and Bones by R.J. Law. I read 2 by this author this month, and they were both recommended to me, and they were okay. Do you know what I mean? They were okay. This was it was all right. It was I don't really know what to say about it, really. It was about a serial killer who kidnaps his victims, keeps them, starves them to death, basically, and then poses them in strange, mutilated ways. It was okay. It was mainly about a new detective who is trying to prove herself in the shadow of a very much more famous detective father. The best character in it was Jimmy, who is also in the other one by this author, actually, who is a PI, a hardened PI. It was very fun. So that's that one. The other one I read was The Butcher's Wife by the same author, and this is about Jimmy, who's the PI, and this woman comes to him and says, "My husband came home covered in blood. I think he might be a serial killer." Anyway, it turns out he isn't. It obviously, well, he is. Well, kind of. Do you know? It's all about secret societies and strange behaviors, occult behaviors, and the real people who run the world. So, it was all right. These were both 3-star reads to me. Next, Bohemian Sledgehammer by Alex Naylor. This was great fun. It was a folklore horror, and it was set historically. It was set in historical times in this small western village, and up in the mountains above it is in the in West Virginia, isn't it? You know, anyway. And up in the mountains, there's this strange religious sect, cult, basically, and he wants to study it. He's a scholar and a professor, and he studies indigenous cultures and myths and religions. So he manages to convince this, who's the best character in it, Holt is called, this old grizzled man, to take him up there. He's happy to go because his son is in this community. And he says, "We can go, but we cannot stay overnight." And then what do you know? They do, and it all goes to hell in a handbasket. It's great fun, very very dark, very very gruesome. The scenes in this of um, I mean, it's torture, really, what the leader of this sect does to his followers who don't follow the rules, and the rules themselves are really stupid. So, yeah, it was good fun on KU. Well worth the read if you like folklore horror. Next, I read an arc by Joey Powell, who runs Maddox Media, called Lost in Found Footage. I love Joey's stuff. He does the Totally Freaked series, which is very kind of like Goosebumps, Fear Street, point horror for the 2020s. They're great fun, very dark. This was his novel. It's basically about this man who buys a cursed camera, goes to watch a midnight showing of an old movie, and the person working at this cinema is somebody he knew from school who he didn't like very much, because they fell out, and they both get dragged into the movie. And it's a horror called The Curse of Witch Hollow, or Curse of something to do with a witch in a hollow. It's been a long time since I read this now. This is astonishing. I can remember anything about it, really. Um, my brain, menopause. It's no fun, loves. But anyway, he realizes that he's going to have to live through the movie to be able to escape, and that's basically what happens. It's all about this legend of a witch in the woods, and um, yeah, and he hooks up with a like a investigation team who are there to investigate this witch, and yeah, the witch needs souls. All the time, this other man who was in the cinema with him is working against him. So it was great fun. I think it's out in July. Um, but yeah, well worth a read. Lost in Found Footage is called. Great cover, isn't it? Very, very 80s. Next was another, this is an ARG, but it's out now, called Attendance An Attraction to Loss by Nathan Black. And this is about basically grief being a doorway to other dimensions and letting something in you don't want to let in. It's about this man who's recently suffered a bereavement, and he moves into into a flat, and strange things start happening. Starts hearing footsteps, starts having things move around, and he decides to film it for his YouTube channel. Hello, YouTube. and then he gets in contact with somebody else who says, actually, no, it's not. This is not um, a good thing. Don't be doing this. Anyway, as you can imagine, it all goes being pear shaped. Eventually escapes, but does he? Next, Dead Silence by S.A. Barnes. S.A. Barnes is becoming one of my favourite sci-fi authors. She's a new author to me, pretty much. This is the third book I've read by her. Second. Cold Eternity I read last month. The second one, Dead Silence. And this is basically about a ghost ship. It's about a team of engineers who are out fixing the relays, and they get pinged a distress signal. And when they get there, it's this massive spaceship that's in the shape of the Titanic. It was the first luxury liner called the Aurora, and it's frozen in time, basically. And everybody's on there, and it's obvious that something really bad happened because there's body parts floating around, gravity's off. It's all what caused them to turn. It's obvious they turned on each other. What caused that, and is it still there? This is really creepy, claustrophobic. You feel kind of trapped in this enormous ship, and then things start going a bit awry with the people in the team and also the people who've realised where they are and is coming also to claim it, because obviously there's a lot of money on there and a lot of famous people who obviously needed to be got and taken back because they've been missing for, I think it's 20 years they've been missing. So it's really, really good. If you like a really creepy sci-fi horror, you can't go wrong with S.A. Barnes. She's brilliant. Then I read We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer. This had been on my Kindle TBR for a very long time, and everybody I know really liked it. I thought it was okay. It's about, I thought it was too long, basically. I thought the basic premise of the story was fantastic, and it was originally a short story. So they should have kept it at that, I think. But there was like, 150 pages in the middle that wasn't necessary. And it's about this woman and her partner. They've bought this doer upper house up a lonely lane, up a hill, up a mountain. And she's there one day just unpacking, waiting for a girlfriend to come home. And there's a knock on the door. And there's a family there, a mom and dad, 3 kids. And the man says, I used to live here. Can I have a look around? And she, like a maniac, my friends, like a complete maniac, says, yeah, come on in. I just slammed the door in their face that fast. Anyway, eventually our partner turns up. They're called Eve and Charlie. And they go away, but then they get caught in a snowstorm and have to come back, and then it all goes weird. It's all about alternate realities and strange dimensions, and poor Eve, she goes through it in this. The actual story, as I said, is fantastic. The premise is brilliant, but it was just too long. It was just too long. It didn't need it, you know what I mean? So it was a disappointment to me, but there you go. If you like creepy horror, you probably love it. I didn't. I thought it was quite gentle for horror. I don't think it was the idea of somebody in your house, not particularly there for the best intention. It's a bit scary, but the actual story itself isn't. It's not gory or gruesome in any way. I didn't think so anyway, but it's okay. Then Victorian Psycho by what was this by Victoria Fetto or Fetto, I think. And this was such fun. So many of my horror book friends have said, Sharon, you'll love. I think you'll love this, but people either love it or hate it. It does split opinion. It's quite a short book. I think it's a couple of 100 pages, and it's about this woman. It's set historically, obviously, who goes to work as a nanny, and she is a complete psycho. And this is her thoughts as they happen. I mean, it's just crackers. It's completely crackers. She's completely off her trolley. She's feral, this woman. No, it's such fun. I loved it. It's wickedly brilliant. I loved it, but I can understand why, because her thoughts are absolutely crackers, absolutely crackers. But it's great fun. I enjoyed it. Next, The Ascent by Ronald Malfi. This is about a man called Tim who's lost his wife, and he survives an accident because he went climbing on his own. And one of his wife's old friends turns up called, I can't remember what his name is now. Anyway, and he says, we're going on this exhibition to climb this mountain. It's like part of the Everest range, part of the Himalayas. And we're going to find this place called the Canyon of Souls, which is very prevalent in Tibetan mythology. No one's ever been there. We're going to be the first people to see it. And there's 7 of them who go. And it's all a bit weird because you're not sure why they've all been convinced to do it. Because after the first accident, as you inevitably know is going to happen, right? Why didn't they turn back? I don't understand. And it turns out this leader has actually got an ulterior motive why he wants all these people out in a place where nobody can hear them scream. It's The imagery is stunning. Oh, really stunning. He's obviously done a lot of research into extreme climbing because it seems to be uh, perfectly explained. It's just so good. It's really, and again, this is very kind of creepy, and paranoia sets in, and it's like a whiteout, so they feel blinded and closed in and claustrophobic. Um, it's just brilliant, absolutely brilliant, great fun, really enjoyed it. Next one I read was an arc which is out in August, Where All the Light Dies by Michael Penny. This is a deep sea horror. I love Michael's writing. He wrote the All Hallows trilogy, which is very witchy. If you ever want to read anything witchy, I think it's 4 parts now. It was originally a trilogy, but it's so fun. It tracks this family of witches through the ages. Such fun. This is a deep sea horror. I love deep sea horror. It's one of my favourite types of horror, and it's about this coast guard who go out because to find this lost sub that's gone down to a wreck from from World War Two that's been down there for a long time and was lost with all hands. The sub is like a state of the art, and then it suddenly appears and nobody's in it. There's no way they got out. There's no way anybody got in. Everything's still locked up. So it becomes a mystery. Then the sub's owners turn up and try to take control, and this Coast Guard, who's a fantastic character woman, she says, "No, we need to find out what happened to these people." So they decide to dive to this wreck, and there's something in the wreck that's holding them, and all the people who died before ah, is so creepy. So creepy. It's basically about a haunted wreck. And but again, deep water always gives you that feeling of um not being able to escape from being enclosed is kind of it causes tapophilia in a lot of people, that idea of being buried alive. Do you know what I mean? And you literally are buried alive by hundreds of meters of water that you can't get out of quickly. It's haunting, this story. It's so good. It was my first 5-star read of the month, and I love his writing. The way he paints a picture is just stunning. He's such a good storyteller. So I really, really enjoyed that. And then the last book I read, aside from on my Kindle, was Dungeon Crawler Carl by Matt Dinnerman. And I've seen this everywhere. And of course, I think the first book's on, I'm sure I got this on KU. Um, and I'm not much of a gamer, but I thought I'd give it a go. I liked the beginning. If you don't know, it's about the world being stripped by aliens. And anybody who survives gets sent down into this basic game show, which is like a dungeon with 11 levels, I think. And you have to work your way down them. And you collect points, and it comes up like with, what your score is and what you've collected, like in a game. And so it starts with Carl, who is this, he's in love with his employer, who's a famous person, and he's looking after a cat, Princess Donut, who's a white Persian. And she gets out, and so he's in the tree outside trying to get her down from this tree when all the buildings collapse and kill everyone inside them. And so then he gets pulled into it. He has to walk into a portal into this dungeon, and it's just him and Princess Donut. Princess Donut gets a voice, so it's a talking cat, which, as a mad cat lady, I loved. And it was good fun. And they meet all these weird characters, and it's basically Squid Games in a dungeon. This is the first book in about, I don't know, 9 or 10. They've only, do they get, I think they're just going down to the second level at the end of this book. I enjoyed it. It was good fun. It was great to read. It was a very fast read. It's a massive book. I don't know if I'll continue the series. I don't think I care enough, but it was good fun, and I absolutely love Princess Donut. Princess Donut should rule the world, as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, she was absolutely brilliant. And Carl is good fun too. He spends most of the book without trousers on. I don't think he actually gets trousers on in the end of it, because he was in his underpants or in his nightwear when he went out. But yeah, it was good fun. But as a gamer, not a gamer person, I think I found all the kind of collecting things and the flashing signs that only they could see, telling them the score, was a bit boring for me. I didn't enjoy that part of it. I did enjoy the fighting. I did enjoy the awful creatures they met. And I really loved Princess Donut. I think we've established that, haven't we, my friends? So anyway, that was my Kindles, which was 18, I believe. If I've missed any, we'll see. And now we're going to move on to the physical reads. But first, I'm going to have a little throat break and have a little drink. Back in a mo. Hello! I'm back again with me dodgy throat. Anyway, These are the 9 physical books I read in May. The first one was The Waitress by Sinclair Smith. And this is a point horror from the Tales Point Horror Book Club, which I'm part of, which I love, my point horror family. These are usually just really good fun. Do you know what I mean? They're never more than a 3-star, really. And this is about a girl called Paula who starts working in her last year of high school um, at a restaurant called Mad Dog or Dog House. So I keep calling him Mad Dog. Isn't that a drink? Anyway, Doghouse is run by this very eccentric woman called Trixie, who's the best character in it. She's got this fantastic big red beehive. Anyway, she starts working there, and then she starts getting strange messages left for her saying, "Oh, something bad's going to happen," and then she starts getting creepy phone calls at home saying, "Oh, something's coming to get you," and she doesn't know who's doing it. Excuse me. And the other local restaurant closed down because of a death. So it all gets a bit weird, and she don't know who it is. And then things start happening. It's good fun. It's great fun. And it's a great discussion we had last Sunday. And yeah, it's good. But yeah, I mean, it's just, the waitress is in trouble, big trouble. Will Paula's first job be her last, basically? It's good fun. So that was that one. And then I read this one, The Expanded Earth by Mikey Please. I have to say, I was a bit annoyed because I didn't realise this was part of a series or possibly a trilogy or a series. This was the first one in it. I don't tend to do series unless they're all out because I haven't got the patience. Frankly, loves, I'm getting old. I ain't got time. Do you know what I mean? So anyway, this is about a genetic mutation that happens in humanity, and it's called the microapocalypse. Basically, every human on Earth in 1 minute shrinks down to the size of a hand, which sounds great, doesn't it? Until you realise everything else is the same price. Everything else is the same price. Everything else is the same size, right? So all the animals now are predators. Even that lovely little dog that's in your garden, predator. The crow, predator. And then, of course, your body shrinks, but the things in it don't. So a lot of people end up dying because their pacemaker suffocates them, or they've got a tooth implant that just empowers their brain. And you think it's just kind of a general kind of this is what happens in evolution. It's the next evolution of mankind and humanity, but it turns out maybe not. And there's 2 timelines in this. So the one of them is the survivors banding together and trying to, find a way through, find a way to find somewhere safe. The main character is called Giles. He's trying to get to his children, his 2 girls. And then the other timeline is pre the microapocalypse, when humanity's trying to figure out what to do because they know it's coming. So yeah, it's okay. It's I really enjoyed it. It was great fun. It was a really original idea. I love anything dystopian or post-apocalyptic, and this was kind of pre and post-apocalyptic. And in between each chapter, there's like little vignettes of different people's stories, random people's stories, including the one person in the world who didn't shrink because he was a leper and he lived on the equator. So that was great. It was good fun. It's a beautiful cover, isn't it? But as I said, I would have been probably less likely to pick it up if I'd known it was going to be a series. But I did enjoy it. Whether I'll carry it on, I don't know. Next, I read How Bad Things Can Get by Darcy Coates. I love Darcy Coates, and she does exactly what she says she's going to do. This is a horror about a cult. It's about this girl. What's her name? Ruth? I think it's Ruth. And she was the sole survivor of a death day cult when she was a child. And she's been in hiding pretty much her whole life. Her identity was changed. And she wins, along with her boyfriend and his friends, a trip to this paradise island called Prosperity Island, yeah. Where this very, very rich and powerful YouTuber, I know YouTube, has set up these competitions to win loads of money. There's games, there's food, there's alcohol, accommodation is provided. Turns out that island also used to house a cult that may not be completely gone. Make of that what you will. It is very, very gory, very gruesome. The body horror in this is juicy, juicy. And it's such a good story. I loved it. I plowed through this. I mean, I inhaled this. It was just like, ah, get it in my head. It was just so fast paced. Oh, it was good. It was such good fun. And this was a 5-star read for me. I think some of it was probably quite predictable, but I absolutely loved it. It was so entertaining, kept me wanting to turn the page, and yeah, great fun. I think this is my favourite Darcy Coates I've read so far. I've read quite a lot of them, but this is my favourite. Then I read 18 stories of modern horror in the flesh. These are 18 stories by horror authors, which is hard to say. Horror authors, pronunciation. And it's great fun. There's a bit of everything in here. This is like a dip your toe in horror. You know what I mean? It was really, the stories are great. I mean, like all collections, some were spot on and some, a bit meh. The best story in here is about this woman who buys a house from this elderly woman who's passed away, and in the garden is an apple tree, and when she eats the apples, she can read men's thoughts. So she finds all the bad men. Great fun. Fantastic cover. Really enjoyed that one. And then I read 3 by Caitlin Dougherty. Now, Caitlin Dougherty is a mortician in America, and she runs this website along with other morticians called The Good Death, where they try and make the death industry accessible, and so people can have the ceremonies they want for their loved ones or for themselves. And I read her 3 books. She's brilliant, like a lot of people in the industry. And I worked in a mortuary myself, so I do understand this. You do get quite a dark sense of humour. It's never disrespectful, but you have to find humour in something that can be often quite grim, do you know? So the first one was Smoke Gets in Your Eyes, which is and other lessons from the crematorium. And this was the first book she wrote about her start in the death business when she started working for a funeral home and crematorium. In America, I think much more so than in the UK, our funeral directors and homes are very, very separate from crematoriums. They are not the same thing. The funeral director takes care of planning the funeral and hiring everything, but the crematorium is away from it. I think in the US they joined together, which is not the way it is in the UK. But this was great fun. It's very honest and no holds barred about what actually happens when a body's cremated. It's fascinating. I'm quite morbid anyway, and because I spent a lot of my life surrounded by death, including my mom, my nan, and my husband a couple of years ago, um, it fascinates me. I want to know what happens. And yeah, I really loved it. It was really good fun, very informative. The next one was from her, From Here to Eternity, which was traveling the world to find the good death. Think Bill Bryson doing an underworld special. So yeah, it was basically traveled around the world, and she met people in different cultures and how they deal with their dead. And some of them obviously still live with them in their homes, or they bring them out once a year and give Granny a good old polish and sit her down for a meal. And there's sky burials in this, which is when the body's left out for carrion. And there's open air pyres, funeral pyres. I mean, it's just fascinating. Again, done with her very trademark kind of dark sense of humour, at the same time being very respectful. Absolutely brilliant. Loved it. And the last one I read by her was this one. And this is the reason I found these books to begin with. Because I had a conversation with my friend Mandy, and she says, Shaz, what would happen if you died in the house? Because I live on my own, right? And I found you. Would the cats have eaten you? And I went, I don't know. So, will my cat eat my eyeballs? And other questions about dead bodies. There's 35 questions in here, all of them from children. Children are much more honest, aren't they, when they ask questions? There's no filter to them like we are in humans. We don't want to offend people. Children don't have that. And so one of the questions is, will my cat eat my eyeballs? Turns out, probably. But they'll start with your lips and your tongue and your eyelids because they're softer. But animals generally, both cats and dogs, will nibble your lips because they think you're just asleep and they're trying to wake you up. But eventually, they are, meat-eating creatures. So yeah, it was fascinating. As if you can see, probably can't see this angle, but there's like little drawings all the way through. It was just really good. It was just really fun and fascinating. Um, just fascinating. Really, really, really enjoyed it. It's funny and it's dark and often quite existential, but loved it. Penultimate book of the month. Other Worlds, Star Lore and Moon Myths. This is a sci-fi anthology. It's by an independent publisher, and it's basically a group. I think it's eight. Yes, nine, one, eight, eight authors, and they form almost like a theatre troupe of writers. And they're starting off with this one. And the main reason I bought it was for the cover because my favourite colour is purple. And I love pink and blue too, but purple is my favourite colour. I'm wearing purple today. Um, so, and it's sci-fi, and it's a mix of traditional kind of old school sci-fi and also sci-fi fantasy. There's a little bit of romantasy in there, which I'm not a fan of fantasy generally, unless it's a certain type. I certainly don't like romantasy, but there's a mix, so it's quite nice if you're not familiar with sci-fi. This gives you a kind of overview of the different tropes and genres within sci-fi. It was really good. I really enjoyed it. Again, like any collection, some were good, some were okay, and some didn't hit the mark. And I believe they're going to do this as like a regular thing. So I think the next one they're going to do is romance, and same authors will do short stories and make it an anthology of romance. But it's a beautiful cover, isn't it? And the final book of the month. Hallelujah. Dollface by Lindy Ryan. Now, this is a bit of a strange one for me. I enjoyed it. It's basically a slasher set amongst PTA moms. Um, the main character is a woman called Jill, who's an author, a horror author, who moves to this area and gets roped into joining the PTA, where they're all perfect and a bit bitchy. And her best friend, it turns over the road, turns out to be Darla, who is perfection. She's like a Barbie doll. Everything in her life is perfect. Everything she does is perfect. And she's a lovely person. The other moms don't treat her very well. And but the opening chapter in this book, when it's just Jill and her sister, when they're children, and what happened to their mum, is honestly so unsettling and heartbreaking and genuinely horrible that this would have been a 3-star read for me, maybe 3.5. It was a 4 because of that opening chapter. It is just brilliant. The rest of it is a pretty run of the mill slasher, really. I think you can tell who the baddies are, and yeah, it ramps up. There's quite a few twists and turns in it, right? If you haven't read a lot of slashers, I think this is a great introduction because it's really accessible, really easy to read. And honestly, I devoured this. I loved it. I read it really quickly. It was great fun. I love the cover, and yeah, it's a whimsical, bloody, unsettling suburban slasher with an unexpected twist. So yeah, it's good fun. So that was it, my friends. That was a May reading wrapped. Yeah, hopefully June. I mean, June's, as I said, June's starting out really good, so hopefully it'll continue that way. I hope you had a great May reading month. Let me know. Let me know what you read. Let me know what you enjoyed. Give me any recommendations. I'm always hoping for that. And I'll be back to my normal weekly vlogs next week. I've really missed them, actually. I haven't done one this week. It's been really weird. It's been really weird. It's been such a good reading week, and I'm just like, why am I not vlogging this? Anyway, I'll catch you up, no doubt. But until then, my friends, stay warm, stay hydrated, keep reading fantastic books, building Lego, doing whatever brings you joy. If you enjoyed my little safe corner of the internet, please consider subscribing and give me a like. And I will see you next week for the next weekly vlog. Soon I'll be getting my scooter and I'll be out and about, thinking of buying a vlogging camera. Don't know. Might do. I don't know. Not many people watch this, so I'm not sure if it's worth it, but it might be fun. But anyway, my darlings, you take care and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.